In the beginning, our love felt like a dream spun from stardust and wonder, her radiant smile, the spark in her eyes, the way her presence seemed to breathe life into any room. Everything about her shimmered with a kind of effortless magic. It all felt so vivid, so real, so achingly genuine. I was certain I'd stumbled upon something extraordinary, someone who saw the world the same way I did, through a lens of passion and promise. In those early days, we were inseparable. Nearly every day brought us together, whether it was for a quick coffee run or hours spent talking in the quiet intimacy of my parked car. We made time for each other as if time itself bent around us. My heart would race with anticipation before every meeting, and from the way her face lit up when she saw me, I believed she felt the same. But slowly, imperceptibly, a shift crept in. Subtle at first, like a breeze turning colder, she began backing out of our plans. Her reasons, in the beginning, seemed justifiable: family obligations, pressing work demands, unexpected illness. I listened and understood, telling myself that love is nurtured through patience and compassion. I gave her the benefit of every doubt, believing this was just a passing phase. But the cancellations became a pattern. Each time we were supposed to meet, another excuse surfaced. Her cousin needed her urgently. She was under the weather. Her boss kept her late. The explanations multiplied, and with them, so did the distance between us. I began to feel like a visitor in a place I once called home. I tried not to let it consume me. I fought against the creeping doubt, tried to hold on to the bright beginnings. But how could I ignore that 2 weeks had gone by without a single moment spent together? When I gently brought up how much I missed her, how I cherished even our smallest moments, she would respond with warmth and affectionate apology, a promise that we'd see each other soon. And I held on to those promises like lifelines, but they always unraveled. There were nights I got dressed, full of hope, drove all the way to her place or to the cafe we'd chosen, only to be met with a last-minute message: "So sorry, darling. Something came up." I'd sit in my car, staring at my phone, feeling the sting of invisible rejection, trying to understand where I had gone wrong. Once, I showed up at her doorstep with a bouquet of roses, thinking maybe a spontaneous gesture would bridge the growing silence. I waited outside her apartment for 15 minutes before she finally texted that she wasn't home, that she had forgotten entirely. That moment cut deeper than I expected. It felt like I was the only one carrying the weight of us. I poured my time, energy, and heart into the relationship, yet she seemed unable or unwilling to give even a few hours in return. My friends began noticing a change in me. I wasn't my usual self. The lightness I once carried had dimmed. They'd ask where she was during our hangouts, why she never joined, and I'd make up excuses to shield her. But inside, I was quietly unraveling. Still, I loved her. That love made me question myself. Was I being too clingy? Were my expectations too high? But deep down, I knew wanting to spend time with the person you love is not a flaw. Yearning for their presence, their effort, their attention is human. Eventually, I made a decision. A small test. I stopped reaching out. No texts, no calls, just silence. I wanted to see if she'd notice, if I mattered enough to miss. 3 days went by, nothing. A full week passed, still no word. The silence echoed louder than any words could. That's when the truth began to settle into my bones. Maybe I didn't mean as much to her as she did to me. And that realization broke something inside me. On the 10th day, she finally sent a message. "Hey, been super busy. You all right?" I stared at the screen, not sure how to respond. I didn't reply right away. I waited, hoping she might call, that she'd hear the silence in my response and wanted to break it. But there was no call, just that single, hollow message like checking something off a list. Eventually, I wrote back, "Yeah, I've been thinking a lot." She didn't ask what I meant, didn't inquire further, just sent a heart emoji and moved on. And in that moment, everything inside me shifted. I knew then what I hadn't wanted to admit: she wasn't truly invested. Not like I was. From that day on, I began to detach, emotionally, mentally. I stopped waiting for her texts, stopped watching her social media to see what she was up to, stopped hoping she'd appear with some beautiful explanation that would make all the waiting worthwhile. One weekend, some friends invited me on a beach trip. Normally, I would have asked her to come, but this time I didn't. I went without a word. I laughed under the open sky, danced around the bonfire, and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: freedom, a lightness, a return to the person I was before her. Someone full of life, spontaneous, brimming with joy. Someone who didn't wait on people who wouldn't show up. She noticed my quietness online and texted, "You okay? Haven't heard from you." I replied, "I'm fine, just focusing on myself." She didn't press further. Maybe she sensed the shift. Maybe she felt it too. But she didn't fight for me. She didn't try to pull me back. And in that silence, I found my answer. That silence spoke volumes. Weeks passed, and I moved on, not with rage, not with dramatic goodbyes, but with calm, steady acceptance. I no longer showed up at her door, because I finally accepted she never really opened it for me in the first place. I don't hold bitterness in my heart. I've learned something invaluable through her: that love isn't just about how beautifully it begins. It's about consistency, presence, effort. I gave all of that. She gave excuses. And though there are nights when I wonder what we could have been, I always return to those moments when I sat alone, waiting, hoping, hurting. I remind myself that true love doesn't leave you in limbo. When someone truly wants to be in your life, they don't make you question your worth. They don't disappear when it's inconvenient. They show up, they try, they care. She wasn't a loss. She was a lesson, a reminder never to settle for lukewarm love, never to water myself down for someone who only offered me scraps of affection. Maybe one day she'll look back and realize what she let slip away. But by then, I'll be long gone, whole, healed, joyful, and wrapped in the kind of love that never makes me feel like an afterthought. Because real love isn't built on grand gestures or beautiful promises. It's built on follow-through, on showing up day after day. And in the end, I chose to love myself enough to walk away from someone who couldn't meet me halfway.